this in the middle of was it the it wasn't the wedding, it was the reception. It was mad loud, it was music, but this is basically the quote I want to talk about, which is hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times, right? The quote is from a novel by Michael Hopf, but I want to apply it to today's terms and today's world. Today's guests, you've seen them before, owner of Northeast CrossFit, Manny Alayon, and
what's up, people?
Reality star, competitive athlete, tactician, cop, blogger, fashionista, Jason Lacayo.
A man of many hats.
Man of many hats, wears them all very well. And thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I know time is the commodity we don't get back, and I really appreciate you spending time here with me.
Having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, so where do we start first? We were talking about this at Cam's wedding. Congratulations to Danny and Cam.
Woo.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks of beautiful married bliss, I'm sure. And I think I was talking about it a little bit because, obviously I have 3 older sons, and Manny has 2 younger daughters. Mm-hmm. So I'm watching it from one way, but I think I want to start with it with the guy who has no children yet, Jason.
Yeah.
You know the quote. Basically, it talks about the cycles. And we can follow it from the 1910s to 1920s, 1930s, roaring 20s, the 30s, depression. I can break it down, but how do you feel about that? Do you feel that good times create weak men?
Yeah, because you get comfortable, man. I mean, if you really think about it, if you're not under pressure, then you don't know how it is to respond to it. Right. A lot of people don't have any adversity that they deal with. Mm-hmm. So I think adversity builds character. Mm-hmm. And like me and Manny always talk about this because it always comes up between like athletes and just like in life, just in general. Like those people who deal with adverse situations tend to be a little bit more cooler in hectic times. See, I know like for me in my line of work, like I have to remain calm, right? And I'm constantly under some kind of duress of some sort. So the older I've gotten, the more stress I actually, I deal with. But I feel like I'm getting better with more pressure, and okay. I actually thrive in chaotic situations.
So you feel as you get older, you're getting better at dealing with it?
Absolutely, because when I was a little younger, it was a little tougher to deal with.
Shorter.
Yeah, because I would get overwhelmed.
Okay.
And
that's all part of the process.
Yes.
And thankfully, no one took it away from you.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I know, Manny. We were talking about Chloe. Mm-hmm. And her experience this year.
Chloe's an athlete that Manny trains at his gym.
Northeast CrossFit.
You want to give her a shout out, Manny?
Shout out Chloe, good athlete, hard worker.
Yeah, and I always say that she is one of the hardest workers that I've ever seen. Because I'm in the gym with her almost every day, so I see the work that she puts in. And, her process just to get into the Granite Games this year was, you talk about a journey. It was a journey and a half. There was some setbacks, and then she, happened to get invited to the Granite Games because it was like she didn't want to go to Atlas, or how'd that go?
Yeah, so I'll do my best to summarize it really quickly. So
take your time, it's free.
Yeah, so with the qualification process, she qualified through the initial qualifier, got a penalty, which set her out of qualifying. We tried to appeal.
Just for everybody else, what's a penalty? What do you mean?
Yes, so she submitted one of her videos. One of her videos got slammed for a penalty.
Okay,
which knocked back her ranking.
Okay,
which she needs to be in a certain placing
to qualify to go to the games. Okay,
yeah. So she was originally in, submitted her video.
So she was ready. She was psyched, right? So obviously, besides the physical, there's the emotional and mental cycle that you run through when trying to qualify for something that's like high pressure, right?
Yeah. And it's very difficult, especially with these online qualifiers. So she submits her video, gets penalized. We try to appeal it, go through a lot of different channels. Still doesn't work. And some weeks and even like a month went by, and they start backfilling spots based on whether people denied their invitation or not. Okay. She got a backfill spot to Canada, and she was going to deny it because she wasn't allowed in Canada.
Why? Is she criminal?
Unvaccinated, which is pretty much
unvaccinated,
which is pretty much being a criminal in Canada.
Okay.
So she had emailed them about not being able to go in. Didn't hear a response for like 3 or 4 days, so we thought it was kind of dead, and that was it.
Right.
Like a week later, they got back and said, "Hey, a spot at the Granite Games just opened up. Do you want it? She took it, and she got real freaking lucky. Because she was knocked out about like 15 spots out, which historically you would not see someone 15 spots out get an invite. That's almost unheard of. But that's just the way it went down.
Okay.
So it was a big emotion.
So what happens as her coach? What happens with her through the roller coaster of emotion? How do you coach that? Because obviously, you know, like I don't know her, so this is not a jab at her, but they say athletes are almost one of the most insecure people. Like they need constant reassurance,
yes,
right?
Yeah. No, it's 1,000% true, because they put all their emotion and things into their training,
right?
And to have something get taken away from you that's not in your control, like she can't control the subjectivity of her video being penalized,
right?
Because we didn't agree with it. I've been in CrossFit for a very long time. I didn't agree with it, and we sent it to a lot of different people. They didn't agree, but the people
in charge,
you know, that's their decision. So it's keeping her cool,
right?
Saying, hey, you know,
stay level-headed.
Yeah, just stay focused. It was my main thing. Is this is a part of the journey. So no matter what happens, whether you get a backfill invite or you just get straight up just denied, this is what it is, and it's how you bounce back from it. You're young. This is not the end of the road for you. This is the start of your journey, and how you pick yourself up and move forward. That's what's going to make you into a games level competitor. You don't want to be someone who gets knocked down and stays down. You're too young and too talented for that. So, you know, I try not to be too much on her about it, because I think part of coaching is I can't overcoach that either.
Right.
I have to give her just enough that she knows what she needs to do, and it's up to her to make the decision. I can't make it for her. Once I start making the decisions for her, then I start to remove those same obstacles that create resilience, that create the strong men,
right? Or women in this case.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
So, you know, and that's something that I'm learning as a coach is if I try to take away the obstacles, and I have to be really aware of what these obstacles are, you know, because I think a lot of parents too, they do things like pay for their kids' college and pay for all their bills, thinking that if I take away all this stress, that they'll be focused on their studies and whatever they have to do. But then when they graduate and they're not able to like pay their own bills or do anything really independently, parents think this entire time they were doing the right thing.
Yep.
When an unintended consequence was, now your kid literally, they have no idea how to hunt because you've been giving them fish this entire time without realizing. You're like, oh, I'll just do it for you. You focus on this big thing. I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. And this is with like good intentions. Like no one's doing it on purpose. It's just a side effect of just what happens.
I think what you just said actually resonates with me, because I come from a very different upbringing than my kids. My kids, you know, they're like, I tell them the chosen ones. They're like, you know, all the things that I'm like, come on, like, Dad, you play basketball? They know I had a job at 14. Like, you know, it's very different lifestyle. So what I try to do was explain to them that, you know, I'm putting you in places of proximity where you'll be other people that have families that are similar to ours that are trying to move forward, but be aware of how lucky you are, because, and the funny thing is my youngest, no matter where I put him, Fordham Prep, IONU, wherever he's at, he gravitates to the kids that got like either the financial aid or the scholarship. Yeah. And he hangs out. Like I went to pick him up the other day at Warburton, Yonkers. Yeah. You know, it's kind of hot over there, right? I'm like, what are you doing here, bro? He's like, this is one of my friends was hanging out. I was like, but then I remember when I was a kid, right? And they moved me out of the hood when I was like 12, 13. I would get on the train and the bus to go back to the hood to hang out because that's what I knew. That's what I knew. So yeah, there's you know, there's that contra, that conflict within myself where I'm like, I want him to be around a controlled environment, but at the truth of it, you know, at the base of it all, there's many stuff we can't anticipate, and we have to just, you know, trust in them, and hopefully we've taught him enough to kind of make the right decision. Or, you know, he was like, I'll take an Uber. I was like, nah, it's midnight. You're not taking an Uber. In the hood, they'll probably take you somewhere else. I was like, I'm gonna come get you. Yeah. So Jay, this is what you have to look forward to.
I mean, you know, when I hear you guys talk, right, it actually, what you just mentioned, I remember my dad, right, when I turned 18, I remember this conversation like it was yesterday.
Vividly?
Yes. He goes, so on my 18th birthday, he goes, all right, son, I'm going to introduce you to the 1830 plan. You know what the 1830 plan is?
No.
I said, he's like, you're 18 years old, you have 30 days to figure out what it is that you want to do.
Ooh.
It's either you get a job or you go to school, or you get out of my house. and I
No
tell
pressure.
you, that was enough to light like a fire underneath me and try to figure out a plan. I thank my dad for that, just because he was always, he never did anything for me. He always was like, you figure it out. This is how you need to become a good problem solver. This is how when you get into situations where you have to figure some shit out, that you need to rely on you and only you.
Was he a military guy?
Yes.
Oh, it sounded like a military guy. So
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's helped me as an adult, and I didn't realize what he was trying to teach me as a child.
Yeah, because you're too young. You're not gonna, even if he told you this is what I'm trying to do, you wouldn't absorb it.
Yeah, and it's like when Manny's telling this story, I remember you talking about your son, like and how you're trying to put your kids in position to win. And it's like, all the stuff that we experienced as children coming up, they're not going to experience the same things because, we're in positions where we can afford a better lifestyle.
Yeah.
So, the hard part is navigating that, trying to figure out, like, how do I, protect my kid but still allow them to grow in a space where they can figure things out on their own.
Right.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is having an initial awareness for it. I think if you're never thinking about it, well, then you're definitely not doing it. But I think it being in your awareness, like, yeah, it's not going to be like the way that, because I think all of us kind of grew up really similarly in that regard. Like, we didn't grow up with like that much, so we had to figure things out ourselves. And now we're in positions where our kids' lives don't have to be that hard.
Right.
Not saying that my life was hard. It was fucking pretty easy compared to my parents. So, but we don't need to make it so easy. But the fact that we're having a conversation about it, and we want our kids to be problem solvers, is far better than what the majority of society is doing right now. Like, now I even think about little, small, maybe silly, maybe crazy things. Like when my 20-month-old daughter is trying to like climb up to the chair. I think most parents would just pick them up when they see their kid struggling to climb up to the sofa.
Right.
I said, no.
You will learn today.
You fucking climb, kid. You climb. And then my wife is always like, help her. I go, no, she needs to figure this out. And sometimes she'll whine, because she has a little bit of trouble getting up, and I just let her climb. And then she figures it out, and I celebrate with her. I say, you're so strong. I actually had her do sit-ups yesterday. Had her do 10 sit-ups up before bed. My wife was like, what are you doing? I was like,
I'm getting her ready.
Yeah. Just introducing these little bits of struggle, because I know their lives are going to be so easy because we can afford them a really nice life. And we're not going to purposefully make it hard, because life is hard enough.
Yeah.
But if I can do little tiny things that are, at least to my awareness, harmless, maybe they'll cause shit later. But,
Yeah. One of the things that I always tell my boys is like the stronger person protects the weaker person, right? Or the person who has always helps those who don't. Like one day we were driving, basketball team kids were in the car. And so I'm just using Fordham Prep. They all graduated from there, so it doesn't matter. They can't sue me if they wanted to. So Fordham Prep is a great place where I love the culture. It's a little exclusive, right? But you have some kids that get there through scholarships, or I mean, just to dig a little deeper, Fordham Prep has to have a certain amount of low-income students to be there to qualify for whatever charters they have to qualify for, right?
Yeah.
So you don't understand that when you're looking at that, because they all wearing uniforms and all that. But when you hear certain things, like I'm driving my kid's teammates home, and one kid was like, "Well, I didn't eat lunch today because I didn't have money." Like they're talking. They're not talking to me. They're talking amongst themselves. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, this kid didn't have money. So
that's his gutted.
So I told my son, I was like, if you know he don't got money, you call me or you text me. He's like, yo, Dad, relax, you can't save everybody. I was like, no, but I'm saying, like, but be aware. I was like, be aware of how lucky you are. That's not even a thought for you. Some kids, like, they're coming, they look nice. It's the whole opportunity to socially elevate, to get access to better schooling and all that. But there's the day-to-day. Like, yo, man, I don't have money for lunch, so I got to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Or, my mom didn't cook for me last night. So, and I'm trying to explain to them that this is reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was reality for me when I was a kid. And that's where sometimes we don't really see eye to eye, because they're like, oh, you're making that up. Or that's not possible. Like when Maggie tells them stories, you was playing a junkyard, they laugh. And I'm like, no, bro, this is the Bronx and Brooklyn in the 80s. Take a look. That's what it was. And that's always been my juggle with trying to give them perspective, because, of course, you don't want to drop them in the hood one day and then, God forbid,
Figure it out.
But I remember one time I'm driving through Castle Hill, through the projects, and you hear these guys speak Spanish. Like, in the hood, they screaming. My middle son, I'm not going to name his name. He says, "Yo, lock the doors. They're speaking Spanish." And I look back. I was like,
Wow.
you're Puerto Rican and Mexican. You know that, right, bro? Like this is your crew. It makes me laugh. But I'm like, yo, be aware, bro. Like I know I put you in these places, but be aware who you are, because unfortunately, they're gonna run into it somewhere in their life where they're gonna made feel a different way because they're brown or they're black or they're dark. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't. I think I've spoken about this before when I was applying to school, and they told me you shouldn't apply for that school, it's expensive. And I was like, well, I want to apply anyway. And I got in, but how many people are told that growing up? Nah, you shouldn't, you should do this. And how many people take that advice? Because, these people supposedly have your best interest involved. Yep. And what they don't understand is that they have their own biases in place. And even if they don't understand it, they don't know it.
Implicit bias.
They're just pushing it, right? At institutional bias.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Institutional bias. Bro, it's from the beginning, like where you should look to go to school, where you should look to go to work. I'm like, yo, man, thank you, but I have the money order for the application. I'm going to do my thing. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. But what if it would have went a different way? What if I would be like, oh, you know what? I don't belong there. I shouldn't do that. And then that becomes a repeating concept in your head. Like what I want to talk about is I want people to understand, look, there's hard work involved no matter how you do it, whether it's lifting weights or financially trying to do things or education, but you can't let other people dictate who you're supposed to be. Nobody can tell you that, because only you know what you really have the potential to do, right? I mean, you as a coach, you're in a special place where you can see somebody and you can tell, you have to learn how to bring it out, but you see it, because honestly, you wouldn't coach people if you didn't, let's be honest, I'm trying to, but it'd be like, I want to go to games. Like if I want to go to games, be like, yo, you could barely deadlift right now. I don't think you can do it, man. Like be honest, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you're kind of stiff, you know what I'm saying? It's a little too late for you.
We got to work on something.
Mobility. Let's start at the bottom, you know what I'm saying? Talk about the games. But you have to be tactful with it, where other people, that's real. But you have these young kids that have everything in front of them, right? And you have people in positions of power and influence that are telling them, hey, man, maybe you should go this way. Maybe you shouldn't go that way. And how many lives have been changed that way? You know what I'm saying?
And what's interesting too is you see it from the opposite side of the spectrum. Just like you just said, with you saying, I want to go to the game, but we need to learn how to touch our toes first.
Yeah.
Actually, I would say the biggest problem in our modern society is people shoot too high. I was just talking to, oh my gosh, it might have been Cameron.
That's a gem
look
right
at Jay,
there.
look at Jay.
That's the truth, though. He's not lying.
It might have been Cameron or someone recently. I was reading something from my wife follows a psychodynamic page on Facebook that she had me read this quote.
If I knew what psychodynamics was, I'd have
this is like a group for psychologists.
Okay.
And they were talking about how I'll just kind of
paraphrase.
Yeah.
Okay.
How we are taught to just take the promotion. We're taught to take the higher status position because that's what's expected of society, when in fact you may not be a good fit for actually that position. You may not be happy in that position, but society is obsessed with the status of it. Yeah. It's like, hey, you don't have to be the mechanic. You could be the person who teaches or runs the mechanic shop, but maybe you're happier being the mechanic, and maybe you're really fucking good at being the mechanic and you suck at the other stuff.
Yeah.
So I think kids are brainwashed nowadays that they're too good to work at McDonald's, that they should be the managers at 18
That's
years
a fucking gem. Here, put me on the camera. That's a fucking gem, because everybody should start somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I've had friends, oh no, I don't want him working there. I'm like, yo, I worked at a supermarket when I was 12.
Yeah.
Illegally. I had to doctor papers because I needed to make money. So, and here we are.
Yeah,
right?
and that they'll only take a low-level starter position if they're getting top dollar. It's the strangest stuff I've ever...
It's not worth my time. Bro,
yeah.
You're fucking 14. What's your time worth right now?
Yeah.
No
Generational
offense,
too.
right?
Yeah.
No offense.
Yeah, it's, and to me that's almost a bigger part of the problem than anything else. And I think with what's going on in the economy, I'm really looking forward to it, to really shake it up. And I think it's what's needed for. There needs to be some sort of reset. And it's going to pain a lot of people, and a lot of families, and that's unfortunate. But I do think it's part of the cycle that we need as a civilization to realize, whoa, we are way too far on this end of the spectrum, and it needs to start swinging back.
I spoke about this. The clip will drop soon, but I don't know when exactly. I just saw the clip about the Great Resignation.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yes.
I'm quitting my job to pursue my happiness.
Yeah. It's that same shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy.
Do you know what that is, bro? That's sleepless nights. That's like never unplugging.
Thank you.
Yeah, like they don't
know,
get
man.
It's cool word, right? But then let's look at the laundry list, behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the part they don't understand. It's like saying, yo, I want to power clean 465. All right, bro, well, let's start at 135.
Yeah.
You know how many levels you have to go through and how many times you're gonna get stuck and maybe go backwards, maybe get injured. I mean, like you can follow something. People don't want to do that work, man.
Yeah. And there's
ebbs and
honestly,
flows.
there's way too much information. We have way too much that people don't understand. And I don't blame them. They can't figure out where to start.
I'm gonna add to that. There's way too much information, and the people that are reading the information don't have the skill to decipher it. That's to me the problem. The problem is that you can go on the internet. Yeah, I could learn how to do anything on the internet, but do I have the skill set?
Yeah, you got to apply it. Absolutely.
And information now is different than information even 10 years ago, because information now is entertainment.
To get your attention.
It's just entertainment, and entertainment looks fun. It looks novel, and it's like, wow, I can be rich from barely working and having a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that's like what most people think.
The problem is, I think people are infatuated with the end. Like they don't understand the process.
Oh no, everybody wants the result.
Yeah,
nobody wants the work. Yeah,
and they don't know what goes into like you said, the sleepless nights and so on. Like I have a few friends that just started up businesses, and it's like, I look at entrepreneurs because I took the opposite route, right? I'm a police officer, whatever have you, but the ability to control your day, that to me is everything, because like my day is dictated around my job. In essence, they could call me right now and be like, "Hey, we got a situation. You got to get
emergency, right?"
And I got to go. Like you guys, kind of structure your own day, right? And understanding that, I know there's some sleepless nights and there's a lot that goes in behind the scenes, but that to me is having your own destiny in your own hands. To me is everything, because I can tell my own story. You know what I'm saying? I could figure out what the ending is going to be, because I'm going to set my hours. I know what I need to do. Being in control of that to me is like the ultimate goal in life. Like when I'm done with this police stuff, I'm definitely going to work for myself. I do not want to work for anyone ever again.
Right.
Because sometimes, and not a knock on anybody that I've ever worked for, but like sometimes you take orders from idiots,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And you're just like, how the hell are you in a position to tell me what to do? And you're a dullard. And it's just like, damn, I got to get on my shit and just figure out something, because I can't do this for the rest of my life.
Right. Well, you're nearing your end goal, right?
3 years, baby.
3 more years. 3 more years.
And I'm out this month.
Less than a presidential term.
That's it, man.
Well, the one thing I'll say about that is that, and I know I say this shit all the time, but I have to say it. Entrepreneurship, success, all those things have a price. So
absolutely,
unless you're willing to pay the price, like in the beginning, your time is not really, you don't dictate your time, because you become like almost, I don't want to say a slave, but you become almost one with your business, because you are the business. Like there's nobody else. Like, man, when you started, you teaching classes, enrolling, selling stuff, whatever you had to do. Same thing.
Bathrooms.
Yeah, the same thing with me.
It's yours.
No, I understand that, and I 100% agree with you, until the point becomes where people be like, but how do I skip all that? Right?
And most people,
right. Well, that's the disconnect. Nobody, you don't skip that, because your relationship with your business is so intimate. It's almost like a person, because after a while, people say, hey, Northeast, right? They don't even say, man, hey, he owns Northeast. Like me, they say, oh, HRN, Money Man. Like, because you've been preaching that gospel for so long, you almost become one with it. And then later, as I guess success follows the work, then you get to like delegate. You get to hire, because you have some money, right? You get to hire people to do certain things. Yeah. And then now all of a sudden, I can move back. Like right now, I'm 2022. I'm 18 years now in the mortgage and real estate game, and I can do a podcast now. And I have 5 guys, men and women working for me that afford me the time to do this, because I believe in working on the business as well as in the business. But in the beginning, bro,
it's all hustle.
8 to 8, I was in the office. And there was like no internet movie, like everything was phones and faxes and old school jammy. Like
See, I'm into that.
Yeah.
I like I'm into the process.
Well, I think because you respect the work.
Yeah.
And a lot
Yeah.
of people, what I'm saying is this new generation, they don't respect the work.
Yeah,
They just want to be like, I want to go to Granite Games. All right, well, what can you power clean? Or I just use that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's your favorite.
well, I can do 10 push-ups. Yeah, man, I don't think we're ready.
I just love the process, man. Like
Yeah.
I love the grind.
But I think that's because of where you come from.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm gonna give all Susie of dad too, because if he was teaching you the process, like me, I'm always kind of like digging at my kid, and they're like, come on. I'm like, yo, bro. And then once in a while, it spits something back at me, and I'm like, I'm getting through. Like like once a year.
That's why I like being in rooms
once
like
a year,
this.
I'll get that light ray. I'm like, fuck, yes. And then the rest of it,
hit home.
And then the rest of it is like, yo, bam, 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 bam. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I like being in rooms like this, man. Like being around guys that are successful, that know about the process. I'm always taking gems from people. Like if someone's willing to give me information, I'm going to take it.
Yo,
Absolutely.
But that's
free game.
But let me give you the rarity. I give away most of my things for free. Like, I talk about it. This is what I do. You see me up. You see me do my walk. My friends make fun of me. I saw you work. You'll walk into that. Like, yeah, it's after the workout. I look crazy. But when they see that my body totally changed in about 6 weeks, they're like, what'd you do? I was like, bro, you follow my story every day? That's what I did.
Yeah.
That's what I showed you what I did. You won't do it because it takes work. It sucks.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're there, like, you got to like mentally motivate yourself. Like sometimes you don't feel like, like, ugh, I'm tired, I just want to be in bed, but then you got to figure out a way to motivate yourself. Like a friend of mine told me, you're a special animal because you wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning, you go into your personal gym, there's nobody there.
Yeah, there's no one there to
music.
motivate
I
you.
can't have music because my wife's sleeping. So I got my AirPods
wake
on.
her up, man.
Yeah, you can't wake her up. And you got to make it happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to make it happen. You got to figure it out. Some days are easier than others. Sometimes my workout partner shows up, sometimes he doesn't, but it doesn't matter. If he doesn't show up, I still go. And I didn't know that until I started talking about some of my other friends, and they're like, oh yeah, I got my Peloton, and I'm like, what? I was
Cool.
like, bro, come on, man. It's not the same. It's not the same. But like you were saying, being an entrepreneur. Like I was at an event 2 weeks ago, and he was like, not everybody's built to be a boss. Because right?
Thank
Talk
you.
on it.
That's a gem right there, bro.
Everyone's obsessed with the idea of all of the benefits, like being in control of your own destiny and all that stuff. But no one wants to clean the bathrooms.
Right.
They want to hire that part out.
Or what about the responsibility of other people?
People don't think about that,
You know how I have.
That's the main reason why I don't want to be a supervisor as a police officer.
Yeah, like the pressures of being responsible for others. On top of everything else.
It's brutal.
Yeah,
It's absolutely.
I have a hard enough time taking care of myself. I got to worry about 20 other people. I'm like, I'm good. I'm
just call me when you need me to take care of stuff.
Yeah, I'd rather I'm better when I'm worried about myself.
Yeah.
You know
So after you retire, where do you think you'll be? What's the game plan?
I'm definitely gonna do something in fitness. I just got interviewed for a coaching position.
Oh,
Where?
Yorktown to coach football.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be working with JV and the freshman squad, which I used to coach before. I coached high school sports. I coached girls basketball, which was a situation in itself. I learned a lot.
did you?
Yeah, and I had varsity football boys, and I just enjoy coaching, man. I enjoy teaching the game and helping guys navigate through certain things, because through sports, life lessons are learned.
Yeah.
And so, my dream job would be something like that, just kind of working in a weight room or something with young guys.
Okay.
And helping them become bigger, stronger, faster.
All right.
Creating some podcasting on the side,
Well,
some content creation.
like the whole thing with the new media, right? Like you control your narrative. I think that's why I grabbed it. From when I first started seeing it, I was like, yeah, I got to do this, because how much misinformation is out there? How many people say things about other people in the industry? Mm-hmm. Like I'm total belief that other people in my industry are not really my competitors. I believe there's 5 billion people in the world. I don't know how many people in the U.S., but I'm sure there's enough people for everybody to make a living.
Yeah.
But other guys aren't like that. They're upset.
They think it's scarce.
Yeah, the scarcity mindset, the abundance mindset. Yeah, absolutely. You said it right on the head, man. I'm like, yo, dude, I I invited one guy who was like challenging some of my ideas, like in my DMs. I was like, yo, come on my podcast, we'll talk about it. He's like, nah, fuck you.
No.
You're gonna edit me out. I was like, nah, man, whatever you want,
It's
man.
gonna be raw.
We'll go live. We'll go live.
Right, like right now. Yeah. So I mean, unless they're willing to talk about
Isn't that crazy that people don't want to debate?
yeah.
That like they want to sit
They want to attack you on the low,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you're like, all right, man, let's talk about it, man. Whatever you want. Like,
Yeah.
A lot
say
of
it to
people
my
don't like
face.
confrontation though. I've noticed that.
they like confrontation if they can just talk and you don't say anything back.
They're keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Everybody's got Twitter fingers. But the minute that you are in the same space, that energy changes.
Oh, yeah.
I've noticed that a lot.
Oh yeah.
You know, like everybody's a tough guy till you stand in front of them.
Reminds me of some emails I would get, some strongly worded emails. It's like, all right, let's have a meeting about it. They have a meeting. All of a sudden, they're real friendly during the meeting.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Hey, good evening, good afternoon, sir.
The whole tonality changes.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
So, no, you had a really strongly worded email
Yeah. I mean,
straight to my face.
I saw something you posted on Instagram about you had a kid come in and the parents were like, it's too much for a college child.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that? Is that all right?
Yeah, totally.
All right. So I don't care about the price point. Now my question is this: is like when you know your value, it becomes very hard to negotiate with you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about you. I'm talking about me. Like
It becomes offensive.
I don't ever take offense. I say, look, I've in 2017. For the people that don't know, my mother, she had multiple strokes. So I went through a real crazy time. I went through such a crazy time but I learned a lot, right? So I was like, you have the intake. You have people coming in. They want. So you're like, hey man, listen. I was being honest. I was like, hey, look, I'm going through something with my mom. I might not get back to you today. Give me 2 or 3 days because everything's touch and go, But, so, my biggest transactions, my big, like, multi-million-dollar transaction, those type of clients, whatever you need, we'll pray. Just keep us informed. We want to rock with you. Not so big transactions. Oh, I need an answer right now. Who are you? I said, look, I'm not for you. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. I'm going through something like
That's
a
Manny
human.
right there.
Like a human being. I'm talking like a human being. Understand that my head is not here all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I might have to be called to the hospital tomorrow. And the people on the smaller end of the spectrum, I'll just use it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can be straight up with
fuck
it.
you. I was like, all right, well, I guess we're good. But it taught me something about my value. Like I was like, yo, real people, they're gonna ride with you. They're gonna ride if they believe in you and what you do. They ride with you. Other people, I call them, window shoppers. They're just looking for that 10 cents off.
Yeah.
You're gonna drive across town, spend like $5 on gas. I'm just using it as a metaphor.
Yeah, dude.
To save 10 cents. Good luck, bro. Do that with the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm sorry. You want to say something about that?
No, dude. That's it's like resonating so much with like a lot of the stuff that like we deal with, and
I'm sure
it's funny.
I'm sure
It's very funny because you're usually, and this is not the case for everyone. There's not like a solid rule,
right?
But generally, and I've been a small business owner for over 10 years. Our worst clients usually are our lowest valued clients. So these are the ones that will ask for discounts. They'll ask for these things and expect these things. And we had to learn the hard way. We would say yes. Sometimes we would say yes.
Right.
And then,
especially in the beginning.
Yeah. And then once you start saying yes to them, then it becomes another request or a complaint. And then what we noticed over time, and this really came about during the pandemic, that our best clients, the ones that valued us the most, were our highest paying ones. The ones that were doing private training with us to some degree, that had a good relationship with us, that they cared about the coaching involved and the results that they were getting, and less about like the fucking music we were playing or their friends. Now when we're on consultations, because now we don't let people do like free trial classes or anything like that.
First, you have to be screened.
We qualify them because we don't want people who are like, I just want to work out and a place to meet people.
Okay.
Because I can see the writing on the wall. Once I raise the prices in a few years, because we're going to continue increasing our value.
Well, inflation on top of that.
Not even inflation. Like, we are going to continue increasing the value of our service. That is my goal, to give you the best service possible.
Right.
And in order to do that, I need a professional staff, and a professional staff needs to earn a living fucking wage. Mm-hmm. The only way to do that is like the money's not coming out of thin air, and I'm not working for free.
Right.
So yeah,
It's gotta come from somewhere.
Yeah, it's got to come from somewhere.
Right.
So people that associate value with things like that, it's a red flag. So we already know right away, if you're not tied into the result that you're going to get out of this, then you'll never understand the value. And that's our fault for letting you in. So we would rather just say, hey, we're maybe not the place for you. Which going on to the original thing that you had asked about, I had a screenshot of a message from a consultation that it was too expensive. And we just said, all right, well, we're probably not the best place for you because of A, B, and C. Because we know our worth and we know what we bring to the table. And it's not our job to be the most affordable thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's your job to afford it.
Right.
It's not my job.
Ooh, I like that. It's your job to afford it. I like that he says that because I've never been the type of person to haggle over a price or something. Listen, tell me what the price is. Don't give me the J price. Like, what is the price? So that way I know what I'm getting myself into. If you feel like you're worth this, then tell me what the number is and I'll pay it. If I feel,
if you feel you're worth it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's how the market should work.
Yeah,
and
simple.
And what people don't realize, especially with like a small business owner, is every time you ask for a discount, even if it's like $10 or $20, you are literally, and this is how I take it, and which is why I take it pretty personal, is every time you ask for a discount, that's the same as saying, hey, Manny, I don't think you're worth this much. Can you take out your wallet and give me $50? That's quite literally how it comes to my brain is, I don't think you're worth it. Give me the money out of your pocket because I don't feel like paying it. Because guess what? Our memberships are a premium price. I don't sell fucking Planet Fitness memberships. My memberships are $200 and something and up. You can, we're in Westchester County. If you're thinking about budgeting $200 plus a month for your fitness, the extra $50, it's like, that's literally a couple of drinks at the bar, which I know you definitely go to.
Right.
It's, I'm sure you have Hulu, Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus.
Oh, don't start that, please.
ESPN Plus. I mean, right there, that's what, $70, $80, $90 worth of
priorities. People don't.
So it's like, and now you want me to give you $50 because you don't feel like paying for it?
Well, then, just to add to that, then we become a multi-tiered system, right? Because, and this is the way I look at it. Let's say I have client A, who's like, and I have a real client like this. I'm not gonna say his name. Whatever you need. If I have to pay extra so I can talk to you, I don't want to talk to anybody else in your company, just you. I'll pay. I have clients like that, right? There's client A. Then I have client B. I can't pay more than $10. And I'm like,
okay.
No, but think about that. Then I'm like, yo, I can't treat you the same. No, it just goes back to you, right? I can't treat you the same because you're not treating me the same. Like, if client A calls me, yo, we already have that. It's established. Like, he's like, number's not an issue. I just need access. He's like, I need to know I could call you. We need to, and you respect that. You're like, all right, well, this is the number. You're like, sent, right? Client B, down the block it's 10 cents less, or I'm gonna change the insurance for $20, but the insurance is not gonna cover your house if it burns down, sir. I don't care. Okay. All right, bro. All right. So I can't fight with you. Right. So then those people, I'm like, listen, then you need to, you're gonna talk to my assistants and I'll call you when it's all over. I mean, me and you did something. It was direct, right? That's not how I treat everybody because some people are like, hey man, and I want to do this and I want to do that and I want you to do this and can you check my insurance? Can you do this? I'm like, I'm not a financial advisor, my man. I'm just the mortgage guy, right? But they want you to do everything. And you're like, listen, man, that's kind of out of my zone. Call your life insurance advisor. Do you think it's a good deal? I'm not going to say his name. I got a guy who wants me to look at his things and tell me if his boat's a good investment. And I'm like, that's not what I do, bro. Don't laugh because I know. Yeah, I'm like, that's not what I do. But you can tell me if it's a good deal. I'm like, can I? I was like, if it makes you happy, then it's a good deal, right? If it makes you happy, because at a certain age, you you got to have certain things that kind of make you happy too, right? Like, then what are we doing it for?
Yeah.
But he's like, I want you to review my books. I'm like,
what?
Yeah,
I'm the mortgage guy.
Real conversation. And you guys know who I'm talking about. But we're gonna leave that over there. Jay, what's the weirdest request you got as a cop? They come up, come on, man, let it out.
Cook me dinner, like.
No, like people just think you have all the like law answers, so they'll call you and ask you like the weirdest shit.
Oh, just calls, not like on the street. Like, what's the weirdest thing on the street happen to you on the site?
I don't know. People don't really bother me on the street too much
because you got the SWAT uniform on.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't look very friendly, so I don't really get bothered like that. It's usually like my friends or somebody like, hey man, if I'm driving a car and this happens, I'm like, dude, get off the phone with me right now. because I can't do that. Like
I always think about that when like, if I ever, never mind, I'm not going to say it.
see,
I go, wait a minute, this is self-incriminating. Not saying it.
People like it's more my friends that will ask me things,
Dumb shit.
and you're like, dude, why are you even asking me this? And you're calling me about this? This is someone's listening to this. Get off the phone, And
Like if I'm driving drunk, I mean, I'm not going to, but if.
they always hit you with that like the hypothetical. Hypothetically speaking, if. Get off the phone now. Now.
Where are you? Pull over. Hang up. Go to sleep.
I'm telling you, man. But I don't really get like anybody on the street like that doing that to me.
I think it's because you wear the uniform, like the whole SWAT thing, kind of intimidating, right? And
People don't talk to
you
me.
run the truck, or how do you run?
Yeah, I'm in a truck. So
Oh, so you're official.
yeah, people don't come up and really ask questions too much.
So if I need you to come to my house, how do I call your specific truck?
It's
Cell phone.
it's based on
the-
like the type of call. If it's some high priority like violent something or other that's happening.
That's when you get called?
Yeah. or
Mag is
it's-
beating you.
So if my wife tells me get out the house, I'm gonna call you.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, all right. Because you know who my wife is. She's pretty
Yes,
strong.
yes.
Yeah. You might bring
could.
backup.
I was about to say, I don't know. We'd have to come with a few more people. But, I mean,
She's got the
That's how we operate.
chancletas in
Yeah.
hand, ready to go.
Yeah, bofetones all over the place. Bofetones. Yeah, both my guys speak Spanish, just in case you guys wondering. Just FYI.
False, I don't.
You don't speak Spanish at all?
Bro, I'm the worst.
yo, Manny
Bro.
is a New Yorican.
Dude,
You were born here?
yeah.
Okay.
I was like, dude, you saw me at the wedding.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
The dancing, the
Yeah,
Spanish thing. I'm the worst Puerto Rican you'll ever meet.
Oh my God. Born in the Bronx?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Well, because my parents are messed up, man.
You blame it on your parents.
Dude, they were what do you call they were first generation?
Yeah,
I
Puerto
guess.
Rico? Yeah.
So Spanish was their secret language.
So they can talk about you.
Yeah, so they can talk shit about me.
Right.
They never even bothered to teach me it. They were like, So I know when they're talking bad about me, but I didn't really
My
learn.
kids took Spanish in school so they could learn what we were saying about them. Because I tried to teach them, but they didn't want to listen. So they're like, all right, whatever. And
And
then,
now do they could they speak it?
yeah. Yeah, they speak
That's
Spanish.
awesome.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of Spanish in
Jacob
school
sounds very American Spanish, like very como está, but he can hear, he understands.
como
that.
está?
Yeah, very. And we talk too fast as a rap. It's gone. He's like,
You gotta slow it
he's like,
down.
hold on, like, I don't understand.
I call that Dominican Spanish.
Yeah.
Like, real fast.
Yeah.
Whoa.
The scary part is that when I have a wide variety of clients, and what I end up doing is I end up talking like them. Like if I'm speaking to my Dominican client, I get louder. There's a Puerto Rican client, I start like talking.
You start getting in their personal
The
space
guys
too.
are really really slow. Puerto Rican, from the island, so really slow.
Yeah.
And I kind of get into a cadence with them. My wife's like, yo, I don't even know how you speak Spanish. I'm like, I just kind of like, you have to learn how to connect, right? So if I connect with you the way you speak, everything gets done a little faster. People feel more comfortable.
Yeah, it's mirroring. I mean, that we use that on the street.
Oh, do you?
Absolutely.
So-
if I'm talking to somebody and they're either from my neighborhood or from my type of neighborhood,
What type of neighborhood is that, Jason?
an urban one, if you will. Yeah, but if you start talking to them and they hear that you're like fluent in their
Native tongue?
native tongue, their dialect,
Yes.
they respond to you a lot differently.
Right.
Versus if I walk into somewhere and I'm just whatever.
Hey, what's happening?
Yeah, like you have to adjust to the situation.
Yeah.
And you have to have that social intelligence to be able to be in a room and I don't want to say morph, but adjust.
Do you remember back in the day when your friends would tell you, because when I went to college, I left a lot of my friends behind. A lot of my friends didn't go to college, right? And then you come back and you use a big word and all of a sudden you're trying to be something.
Yeah.
Oh, what happened? You changed.
Yeah. You
Like
different.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
out here using
And
SAT words
They
and
almost they try to shame you into like, and it took me a minute to kind of understand that. All right, man, we can't leave that in the pocket. Let's not bring that out because I don't want no friction, with the boys and if you, I'm sure you guys have certain pockets of friends that you talk a certain type of way with, and other pockets not so much. I have my social climbers that you have to speak a certain way, and they want to talk about their boats, and then that's
Boats
fun.
and hoes.
Yeah, that's fun, but like you're you get kind of
I
tired
get
of
that
that.
a lot. I get that a lot. Like a lot of people like, they'll tell Manny, that guy on your podcast is very he's well spoken.
He's articulate.
He's articulate.
That's
yeah.
my
That's
favorite.
the word.
That's the
He's a
word.
very articulate young man.
I love it. I love it.
articulate. What the? I'm just talking normal, but
Where did he go to school? That guy.
it's I get that a lot though, man. I think people look at me and I think they assume like I'm going to speak a certain way, and then when I start talking, they're like, "Oh, this guy's got a fucking head on his
That's
shoulders."
fucking crazy, right?
You ever just ask like, was I supposed to sound different?
Yeah, I've done that. And
Yo,
people look at you like,
you know how uncomfortable we make people feel?
Yeah. But it's all about the reaction, right? And to make them aware, it's like, oh, that's supposed to be different.
What about you, man? I remember back in the day you told me some people come in and think Cam's the owner.
Yes.
oh, I remember that.
How'd that make you feel?
I'm not see, like people think that see, I don't get offended by like microaggressions. I think they're hilarious.
Okay.
But I also like probably have too much of a sense of humor toward that stuff.
Okay.
But yeah,
You're not sensitized to that.
No, like it's like, yo, I get it, man. Not a lot of brown people own businesses.
Own shit.
That's cool, man. Like, I get it. I don't blame your white ass for thinking that. Like, it is what it is, you know? But it's funny. They're like, yeah, is the owner here? I'm like, owner here. What's up? I'm not Pedro the cleaner, you know? Like,
I want to talk to your manager. Hold on. Here I am.
Here I am. Just do a little 360.
yeah.
I remember when I first started in the business, like I didn't think it was important, but later on I kind of learned it was. Like they would call me Louis, right? My name is Luis. I know it sounds stupid, but
but it's your name,
right?
though. Yeah,
right. Well, I didn't pick on, and then one who became a good friend of mine, who was a very high net worth individual, goes, no, they should call you what you are, bro. Don't be okay with that. Don't be, because you're okay with that, you become okay with a lot of things. It all kind of relates. So now,
Damn.
and it could be a telemarketer.
That hit me deep. I was like, shit, you're kind of right.
Yeah, they were like, Louis, I'm like, Luis, who is this? And then it changes everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like these
I never looked at it like that, though.
dude, these are the gems I
That's a
pick
gem,
up
yeah, that's a
hanging
gem.
out with people, and they're like, and it's never like, oh, you crazy. You know, it's always like, I feel like the most successful people that I've met, always very calm, right? Always very calm, and they always have this like reflective aura about them, and they're like they've heard this before, and they just want to give you a little bit, right?
Yeah.
They're like, he's like, no, I know it's okay, but it's not, and this is why. And then once you start hearing, and if you hear from somebody you respect, then all of a sudden it impacts you. You're like, you're fucking right. Nobody called me Louis. Everybody Luis, and then Omar, and then yeah. But it's those little things as you start on your path, right? And you start seeing, and you know, going back to that word, institutional.
Bias.
I don't want to say bias. I was gonna say racism.
that, yeah.
Let's call it bias. Institutional bias. Like people don't understand how where it starts.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that thing on Instagram I saw was real about the Sesame Street thing.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I saw that.
What was it?
Oh yeah, you didn't hear about this. Go ahead, Jay.
So basically, there were these characters that they have.
They were doing a parade.
in a Sesame Street parade, and they were saying that these characters were ignoring brown children, if you will.
Yeah.
It'd be politically.
These
correct.
two little girls were like this, like shake my hand, and I don't know if it was he or she. The character said no and kind of walked by.
Yeah, but so here's the thing too. So it was just one person.
Manny's the wrong guy to talk about this.
It was just one person. Now there's more videos of it happening further down the line.
Really?
So now it's becoming a thing. So I think Sesame Place is trying to do something to get in front of it.
Oh boy.
But it's a thing. See, my thing is this. I try not to take anything personally. A lot of people have shit that they deal with and they just project.
Right.
So like I can't walk around like if someone calls me something, like you're not going to change my reaction because you called me a word.
Right.
Because it's just a word. Now action is different.
Right.
You can say whatever you want to me.
Right.
The action
It won't
to me-
trigger you.
Yeah, that's not going to trigger me. It took me years
To work on that?
to work on that.
Yeah.
And like you just said, like these successful people that you know are like these very calm, reflective
Yeah.
human beings. And I feel like with age, I've gotten to this level of like slow it down, process what was just said. Now look at the person.
With age, and let's add adversity, because it takes a lot of situations that you go through to build that tolerance.
Let me tell
To
you.
have to have that endurance to be like, okay, my constitution allows this. Proceed.
So you got to look at it like this, right? Is it worth like is a tenth of a second worth
Changing your life.
20 years of my life?
Yeah.
Because someone called me something, I'm gonna be like, you know what? And I'm gonna do some craziness where I risk my freedom. I like my life.
Yeah.
I like to wake up and do the shit that I do every morning and, live where I live. I enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to throw all of that away because someone called me a name. And you know why they're calling me that name? To see if I react.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I'm quote unquote supposed to do. You call me a name, I get angry, I smash a bottle over your head or whatever, and then now I'm in the clink, and
everything I built
it's gone.
is gone. Right.
So it's for me, it's not it's not worth it. So back to the Sesame Place thing, I'm like, do we know if it was really that? I don't know.
The bad thing is with camera angles, you can make anything up.
And
that
that's
whole
what
thing,
happens.
I mean, good example is that whole Kobe. You know, that whole thing where Matthew Barnes throws the ball in his face and Kobe doesn't flinch. There's another angle on that.
Yes,
it wasn't even in his face,
Face.
but for years everybody was like, "Oh, this guy,
Kobe's stoic.
Yeah, this guy, you can punch him in the face, he won't even blink." But meanwhile, the ball's over here. He was over here.
Yep.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Angles are everything. Man.
Yeah,
And I feel like people are gonna take whatever they just saw and they're gonna run with it. It tells half the story.
Going back to information being so free, and you don't know who's putting it out, and everybody has their own agenda. They just want you to agree with them, right?
What's crazy to me is if like my dad tells stories. My dad is 68,
Young boy.
and my dad tells stories about like certain neighborhoods and shit he couldn't walk through. And people see stuff like this Sesame Street. That's nothing, bro. Like you're making up something, right? Or you think you see something.
Because times are way too easy, and we got to create problems.
Exactly. It's like when you have to say, I got to get from this street to this street, I got to go around this neighborhood because the Italians won't let the black and the Spanish kids walk through this way. Or the black kids couldn't go through this neighborhood because, the Spanish kids over there wouldn't let them. It's just...
Bro, when I was 12 years old, they moved me from 196 in Jerome to Pelham Bay.
Okay.
Oldie brown kid on the block in Pelham Bay. My stepfather was Italian. I think I was there a couple of weeks, come back from basketball court. Kids pulled up, started shooting me with BB guns. That's a real thing. That's a real thing, man. Like, and you're just like,
We're like, stop, I'm Sicilian. Stop. I'm from the island.
No, I ran. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I grew up like in a really bad neighborhood, and this is what happens to me here, like BB guns and get out of my neighborhood, and and that.
This is what I'm saying. It's like, think about where we were and where it is now, and like you said, people are creating these issues because there's not any real problems going on.
Well, we go back further to cancel culture. Everybody wants to cancel everybody
don't get me started with that.
because of one thing you heard 80 years ago, like everybody's perfect. But the fact that they got you on record, like how many people have gotten fired from tweets that they sent out 10 years ago?
10 years ago, yeah.
Fuck is that?
Honestly, I think the worst part is that people are apologizing for it. Sometimes yes. Sometimes yes.
If it's blatant, if it's crazy, and if you've changed.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Like, definitely apologies need to be made. But there's some things that are like what?
Why are we talking about this? Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I always think about like, man, you could look at my thing and be like, oh, I'm going to try to cancel Manny. And be like, listen, that was funny when I said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Get the
bad
context.
taste.
Get the context.
But it was, I was 21.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm definitely not the
what
same
it
person I was a decade ago.
Yeah.
Well, God bless.
If I said some craziness.
Yeah. Well, remember when we're younger, everything is fucking easy because we don't have perspective. Like, it's this. I'm never gonna do this. F this. And then 10 years later, I can see how that could happen. Oh, shit, that's crazy. Right, but it's true. Like, I think about who I was when I was 17
versus who you are.
The risks I was willing to take. Like, yo, I was like, the bag is what? Let's go. Like, and now I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on, guy. All right, is this enough to retire for the rest of your life? Like, you start getting perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not the same person. Hopefully, some guys are stuck. Some guys stay stuck.
Some guys don't evolve. Yeah.
Right, and then you end up drifting away, and then all of a sudden you're a scumbag and I'm like, but we have nothing in common anymore. Like, I'm not at the. I was one day I was watching TV with the wife, and like 4 guys called me back to back Friday night. I knew what was happening. They all met up. They were all random guys that I know, but they end up meeting and they end up saying they know me, and I'm like, I'm not gonna answer the phone at 8:30 at night to hear you drunk single divorced guys talk to me about how you know me. It's all good. I understand, but I knew it was coming. Like, I know. I'll get him on the phone right now. I'll get him on the phone. And I was just putting my phone on me. I was like, the fuck on it? Like, come on, bro. Like, you 50. Stop. Stop. What are you doing at the club? You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have anything in common no more, man. Like, it's all right. That was good when I was 20.
Mm-hmm. But that scares me, man, when people don't, like, grow and evolve.
You haven't seen that?
I've seen it. Because I'm just in a space right now where I'm just in a little small bubble.
Cocoon?
Yeah, I mean.
And you're also you normally surround yourself with people who don't want to be the same people that they are right now. 10 years from now.
I made that clear and evident in my life like a decade ago. Mm-hmm. I need to be in a room with guys or people that are growing. Like, that is the key to success. I mean, if you're in a stagnant situation, it is damn near impossible to grow. You have to be around people who can teach you, and if you're not learning, if you're sitting in a room with somebody and you're just like, oh, whatever, then that's a problem. You need to maybe check your ego at the door, because you can always learn something. Like I'm always trying to get free game, but I'm also now I want to surround myself and spend my time with people who are trying to better themselves and better other people, because like I always say, if you get into a room with somebody and they're telling you some shit, it's a reason why they're telling you this. Like, hey, Jay, you might want to, like, any kind of like financial information. Like, if a friend of mine's like, hey man, I was doing this, that, and the third, you might want to look into that.
Right.
All right, man, you're trying to put me in a better position, because I don't know too many people from my old circle that would do that, would put me in a position to win. Right. They're trying to hide these gems. Meanwhile, I'm sitting in a room with people giving away gems.
Well, I got a two-pronged question for you on that one. You said 10 years ago this happened. Yeah. What happened? Can I ask you what happened 10 years ago that changed you pivot in life, that made you change perspective?
I started looking around, and there were people around me like just either getting locked up or like dying.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like kids that I grew up with. Like, I mean, I've been a cop since I'm 22, so I lost a lot of friends initially because they were still involved in some street life. Yeah. So I lost them, and then like the residual group of people that hung around, they were just whatever. They weren't trying to like elevate, right? And then all of a sudden I started looking around and like, oh shit, this kid got shot. Oh, this guy went to jail. Well, this guy just made poor health choices and he died. Yeah. Like I had a friend the other day, 41 years old. He had diabetes as like growing up. And I just think it maybe got out of hand. He went to sleep and didn't wake up.
Damn.
So when you start to look around, and then it was a photo that I saw. It was a photo of 4 of my friends, and I was in the photo, and I was the only one still alive in the photo.
Damn.
And I was like, you know what? I think I need to like keep the circle around me now. The people that I surround myself with on a daily basis, or the people that I interact with, just people that vibrate high and are looking to just better themselves and better others. Yeah. Not saying that these gentlemen or these people didn't do these things, but I looked around one day and I'm like, damn, man, I'm in a good space. I got good people around me that support me.
You took stock. Yeah, you took stock of where you're at.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. So, like, that's why, like, I tell Manny and Cam, like, I appreciate you guys, because if I'm in a room with these dudes, I'm learning something.
Right.
And even from, like, if it's not financial, it's like life perspective stuff. And it's been a while since I've been around like good humans like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, no offense, but your job puts you in the not so good human category all the time, right? So you're kind of hanging out in the not great human category. People who need help because they're calling you for a massive emergency for some reason.
Yeah. Or you just work with miserable human beings. There's people who go to work every day.
That energy vampire.
Yeah. And then like they walk into a room and they just change the dynamic because they're just unhappy with like where they're at in life and what they're doing. Their decisions. Yeah. Exactly. So when I'm in a room with people who are like have a zest for life, I'm like, yeah, man, this is a space I need to be in. Well, people that, I mean, losing, once you start losing, and I mean that your friends, your family, that shit kicks you in a way like, all right, now I got to maximize my life. Whatever that means, whatever right? It is, yeah, I got to, because I'm not promised tomorrow, right? The whole thing with my mom just put me in another zone. And then the other thing I was going to say was that this is the challenge that I find, right? I have certain friends and I'm like I'll invest in something, I'll do something. And most of them, and we'll have those friends, no, I would never do that, I'd do this. So eventually for the friendship, you just stop talking about it. You're just like, all right. And then sometimes you're right and you do really well. And then they're blaming you for not telling them. Why don't you put me on? I was like, well, so now I do a disclaimer. I was like, yo, I'm doing this. Could be good. Could blow up. This is what I'm doing. If you want to talk about it, we talk about it. If we don't want to talk about it, that's cool too. Like I just got I do like a public disclaimer. Like when I come meet like my boys are like, yo, man, this is what I'm doing. I don't know if you want to do it. This is not financial advice. It's for entertainment purposes only. I'm not a financial professional, but this is what I'm doing. Yeah, but see, like someone like me, if I'm sitting in a room and like, yo, Omar just said this, all right, I'm taking notes. Yeah. Well, because you want to learn. Yes. Some people are comfortable in their own little kingdom, whatever that is. Whatever that is. Complacency kills. Right. Agreed. And then, what I do kind of like, some friends I have recently have just been real with me. They're like, yo, I'm not really good at this. I need your help on this. And, certain things take a lot of, confidence because they're intimate information, stuff like that. Yeah. And I know I know the way around stuff. That's my thing. I know my thing. So I'm like, all right, come on, this is what we're doing. It's done. And then, sometimes I feel grateful to be able to do that. And they're like, oh, what do I? I'm like, no, it's not. It's yo, I could do it. I did it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ever need this or that, that's what I do for a living. Yeah, please think about me. But this was nothing. This is something I wanted to do for you because I know you want to be in a different position. Like, I was talking to one guy about life insurance whole life and some things that I'm doing. And I'm like, well, you can put the money in, you can pull it out later, tax-free, pay yourself interest. Like, I was explaining it to him.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. It's like, that's how
And he was like, yeah.
I was like, the Carnegies were like, this is how they funded their whole fucking empire. I was like, bro, life insurance policies.
We'll have to talk about that after.
Yeah, absolutely. But
I just finished the book on it and still don't get it.
but dude, you can bank yourself. There's just so many, like, once you start climbing and you go into the room and then you realize there's another room and then you go into, like, you're like, yo,
that's a really
I'm happy to be here. Wait a minute, what's back there? And then you go back there, like, that's the room that controls this room, and this room was supposed to be success. Nah, that's the room. And then there'll be another room. There's always room. Like, there's always room. You know what I'm saying? And that's the one thing I'm learning, and one thing I try to kick with my boys, because I'm like, yo, dude, whatever the number is, whatever you make a year, if you're happy with it, great. If you're trying to grow, then, you got to keep learning, because you have to learn how to leverage. Everything is leverage in life. If you can take your 10 and control 100, you're winning.
That's the name of the game.
Right.
Leverage is everything.
Leverage is everything. Right.
Leverage is everything.
Leverage is everything. So I think that'll be the name of the podcast today. Leverage is everything. All right.
I like that.
In summation, what do you guys want to do? You guys want to, Manny, where can they reach you? They want to speak to you?
Yeah. So I would like to say I'm active on Instagram, but I'm actually not that active on Instagram. I would like to be.
What is your social media? Which is the one you use a lot?
It would be Instagram.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not on Facebook too often. I just downloaded Twitter because, Elon was going to buy, so of course I had to go.
My boy. My boy. I had to support my boy.
Yeah.
Manny's going to be tweeting there.
Yeah, I still haven't used it. It just sits there. But yeah, easiest way would be Coach Manny _HP.
And where would they find you physically if they wanted to speak to you about their health?
Yeah, that would be at Northeast CrossFit.
The camera.
Boom. I don't even know where the
Your camera's in front of you, bro.
Oh, this whole time.
You had your own camera.
I'm here just looking at the screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, easiest way to contact us, northeastcrossfit.com. And my direct email is manny@northeastcrossfit.com. If you can't spell Manny, shame on you. It's MANNY.
You shouldn't have spelled it for them.
I know. I just made it too easy. I already took away their obstacle.
That's it.
Damn it.
Go back.
Damn it.
Jason, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram. The real Jumpman J, spells as it sounds. And I got some stuff cooking, so I got some stuff coming like September.
Can we talk about it?
It's going to be. I can't talk about it yet.
NDA's not signed yet? NDA's not signed.
I got some stuff cooking.
What about the NDAs? Okay. September. We have something to look forward to.
Yes.
All right. Everybody here knows where to get me. Ask Louis Omar, Instagram. Ask Louis Omar everywhere. It's the easiest thing. Just Google Ask Louis Omar. Something will pop up and you get to me. All right. Thank you very much. See you next time.